you understand me.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Blunt and the Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm wearing a lot of denim. And how are you?
I'm very well indeed. You look lovely. You look resplendent.
Oh, thank you.
We are going to talk about aging today.
We are.
And as someone who's, as I say, 109
Mm-hmm.
and you're 53.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Okay.
You know what? It creeps up on you real slow.
Yeah.
It is. And I want to talk about aging not in a just looks perspective because that's not really much of my interest, more of yours.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about what is liberating and great about aging and what is like a personal offence.
Yeah, what sucks ass about it?
I'm going to start with what I hate about aging.
Uh-huh.
Chin hair.
Yep.
Thinning hair.
Yep.
I've always had fine hair and a lot of it, and now I can just feel it getting thinner.
Don't say these things to me.
It is just, oh, wow. Okay, menopause.
Mm-hmm.
My ears are always itchy.
What?
I don't know why. It is a common thing. My ears are so itchy. I'm always walking around itching them. And my nose is so itchy internally that I had to go to the chemist at 9 o'clock at night on High Street and get a nostril cream.
Get off the blow.
It's so bad. It's an ointment, and I hate that word.
Yeah, I know you do. You put a cream up your nose.
Yes.
God.
So
seems a bit hard,
no one
doesn't it?
tells you about these things.
No.
So for me, aging, I've never really worried about aging until I turned 35.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a big lunch for my girlfriends.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a wake.
Oh, did you feel like it was
Yeah,
goodbye?
I was real sad.
That's so funny. You had already had 2 kids.
I just felt like 35 was a turning point.
That's interesting. Why?
I think I equated 35 with middle age.
I would perhaps think that that's a little premature.
Yeah, I was really depressed about it. I had a lunch for 20 girlfriends at this fabulous pub in South Melbourne, and then we got on it and then went out
Itchy
later.
nose.
Yeah, and I danced all night. But, yeah, I really struggled with turning 35.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, you're only 28 though.
Yeah.
So what does aging feel like for you?
Well, it's hard because I started going grey at 13.
Yeah.
So that was pretty early. I did fight the good fight with it, and then a couple of years ago I gave it up and have just kind of gone salt and pepper from there, which we love. But that was a hard one in high school and early high school in particular for people to be like, do you have dandruff? And then go, no, it's not dandruff, it's a grey hair, but thank you so much.
Yeah, nana.
Yeah, you feel like you're 112. Aging, I don't know, I've enjoyed it thus far. I mean, I get a bit woo-woo.
It's a privilege to age.
Oh, it absolutely is a privilege.
I think for me, obviously being 53, menopause, my perimenopause I think started at about 48.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely felt that coming on. There's not enough people to talk about it.
No.
And I don't want to do a whole episode on perimenopause or menopause, but there isn't enough studies and there isn't enough conversation about it.
It has been kind of seen as a very private thing, but I think private to a fault.
Yes.
Because, I mean, most things to do with women's health is like private, quote unquote.
I would like women to talk about menopause and perimenopause the way they do about endometriosis. I know more about endo than I do about.
And even endo needs to be talked about more.
Yeah.
So it's all under-repped, you know?
There's an essay I read years ago by an amazing writer called Mary Raphael, and she wrote an essay called Pause about menopause. And I want to read a small part because I think it'll resonate. No matter how attractive or unattractive you are used to having other people look at you when you stood at the bus stop or at the chemist to buy tampons. They have looked you over to access how attractive or unattractive you are. So no matter what the case, you were always looked at by men. Those days are over. Now others look straight through you. You are completely invisible to them. You have become a ghost. You no longer exist. And because you no longer exist, you will do anything for attention. You may shave your head or dye your hair or wear striped stockings or scream at complete strangers. You've seen them, haven't you? The middle-aged women screaming at the attendant in the convenience store.
And that's
That's
result.
the Karen.
And that's the result of that is Baby Girl starring Nicki Kidman.
Yeah.
It's a want. I mean, it's really hard when women are taught from the age that they basically, before they even hit puberty. I mean, I think the first time I was catcalled, I was 12 from a car. From then onwards, the metric that you're measured against is fuckability, basically.
Yep.
And then you start to conflate your worth with that because it's what the world tells you to do. And then as soon as you feel like you can almost master it, right, you know what you're doing now. You're not just wandering through. You're like, no, I know what looks good on me and I know how it works, blah, blah, blah. Perimenopause hits, menopause hits, and you go, and it was all for naught.
Yeah.
It was all bullshit.
Yep. The male gaze, centering your world for the male gaze and the construct of aging around that is really interesting because, so I'll tell the story about the cafe. Years ago, I worked at this company. It wasn't even years ago. It was like I was in perimenopause. I was at a cafe that near the place where I worked, and there was a venture capitalist at the place where I worked, and one of the most senior managers there at the time, and I could hear them talking about the team that I worked in, and I could hear them talking at length about my manager. And they went to town, and then I went back and told my manager.
Of course.
I was a good girl.
Kate Forster-Nark.
And he said, why the fuck did they not notice you were in the cafe? And I said, because I'm invisible. Because neither of them wanted to have sex with me.
Yeah.
So I didn't count. I was literally a prop.
Yeah.
And that can be a power though.
Yeah, absolutely it can.
If you
it can also knock you for 6 if you don't anticipate it.
It will knock you for 6 if you have always been valued by your looks.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, like hitting puberty, I remember being told by aunts of mine that because I got boobs and hips really quickly. Like, oh, they'll love you, the boys. Let me tell you, for a good while there, they bloody didn't. So that was all for naught for a good few years there. But, yeah, it's a weird thing that as soon as you start hitting puberty, right, you're 12, 13, the value of your body changes. And it's not just is my body strong enough to fucking climb a tree. It's is my body strong enough to be desired? Does my body possess enough for people to want to have sex with it? Which is a really strange thing. And when you're fucking 13 or whatever and you're like, I don't really even know what sex is. I don't understand how people kiss with tongues to a degree. I'm not getting a lot of this. To have your worth be changed and shifted is a really, really strange thing. I remember being kind of excited by it though because I had quite a feminine body, being told that we're like, whoa, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. I felt validated by that. And then, and then when I was in my kind of early adolescence and kind of, late teens, early 20s vibe, I was like, oh, yeah, I've got the right stuff. I've got the right stuff to
age into it.
And to be desired and to be worthy of something and to be chaste and to be all of the things that kind of a really old school version of femininity and sexual desire you're taught to want.
Right. I mean, for me, being this age and looking at my peers and seeing who has struggled with aging and who hasn't, the women who were the prettiest women in the room, you will never, ever retain that crown forever. There will always be the prettiest girl there will always be a new version of you. And that is some of the women that I have seen have struggled with that and really it's painful to watch because I have never got anything on my looks. I'm a pleasant looking person. I am not a beauty. And I've always known that. So I was like, I need to be funny, I need to be smart, and I need to be a hard worker. Yeah. And that will last. You can maintain that crown in a room. But being the prettiest girl and you hit sort of 35 and over, you're not the prettiest girl in the room anymore.
You're not a girl anymore, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, my personality developed when I got Ashton Kutcher's haircut in year 6. That's what happened. Year 5, maybe.
You look like your dad.
I did look like my dad. And do you know what's fucking hard? Sorry. Is that I went in there with a picture of Posh Spice. Do you understand what a rigmarole that is? To go in there with, firstly, am I 49? Why did I have a picture
look like
of
a pencil.
Victoria Beckham in 2007?
That was a throwback.
So, say you'll be there. And then I looked, because I've got a natural kink to my hair, I looked like Ashton Kutcher in that 70s show. And no one wants to look like that. Oh, God, it was so hard. I look back on photos and I'm like, that's okay. Yeah, tricky.
I had Claire's haircut from Fleabag. I had the pencil.
Yeah, you've also had a couple Liz Lemons.
Yeah, I've had a Liz Lemon. Yeah,
it's good.
Deal breaker.
Yeah, absolute deal breakers. No, it's funny that I think it's interesting to talk about age and to start from earlier, right? To talk about aging through. And I think the biggest shift is going from childhood into your teen years initially.
So your kindergarten teacher said something really interesting about you when you were really little. Four. Mm-hmm. She had you for 3-year-old and 4-year-old kinder. She's one of those kind of amazing, beautiful teachers that changes lives. And she said to me, Tansy is just seeing her childhood as a punishment until she turns 18.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
And it really resonated with me because I saw that you found so much of your childhood just so tiring.
Boring.
Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? You wanted to get to 18 and just fuck it all off and do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
And I had to keep reminding you that the process of aging is wisdom and learning. Mm-hmm. You have to have those seminal moments as a teenager. You have to have the bad haircut. You have to learn a little bit of resilience and a little bit of having some shit hung on you, those sort of things. I mean, I remember I started at a new school in year 9 and the week after I fell off my bike and split my chin open and I had stitches. And Anthony McMeekin called me Billy Goat Gruff.
Oh, who's
and
trip-trapping?
I had a choice. I was like, am I going to fit in? And go with the joke.
And haha, yeah.
And I bleated at him.
Oh, good.
And then that was fine. She's cool. The new girl's cool.
Kate Forster, improv queen.
That stuff is
yes, and
yes, but that is the stuff of aging that you need to go through.
Oh, absolutely. And and hurting someone's feelings and apologizing for it and realizing that you fucked up without them having to tell you that you hurt their feelings. All of that shit. Learning to read the room.
I think it's really hard for women to know how to age successfully and in a healthy way because there is not enough research done on women's bodies.
No.
Everything that we know about health really is based on male bodies.
Of course.
It was only a few years ago they were going, why are so many women dying of heart attacks? It's because the symptoms of a woman's heart attack are completely different to a male heart attack.
Absolutely. And also because women have – I was watching a video this morning actually of a comedian talking about how she just had – given birth to her first child and she turned to her husband in the delivery room and said, you could never have done that.
No.
I've been training with discomfort my entire fucking life.
Well, it's that line from Fleabag, isn't it, where she says
women have pain built in.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the thing. One of the things this comedian said in her set, she was like, I got a moustache at the same time as you and I paid someone to rip it out with thread. How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
I think that women inherently have high pain thresholds because we were built that way.
Yeah. I mean, from a young age, women are taught implicitly and explicitly that their worth is around their beauty, their youth, their desirability, and then you age and the threat, aging threatens all of those. One of the things I've noticed is a lot of women who I talk to on my platforms who message me are being told by doctors that they are depressed or anxious. No, they're in perimenopause. So did you know that this is Australian stat? Females aged between 50 and 54 have the highest age-specific suicide rate. It's 10 deaths per 100,000 women.
That's crazy.
It's 10.7% of suicides in females in Australia is women over 44.
Mm.
You cannot tell me that's not hormones.
Of
They're not
course.
doing enough for that. There is not enough. Meanwhile, you're in perimenopause and you're being told that, you know, oh, you don't look your age, but your body feels your age.
Of course, and your body can feel older or younger than your actual biological age. Like, it's a massive thing. Some people go into premenopause really early. Some people go into it really late.
Yeah, and it always freaks me out when people say, oh, you don't look your age. And I'm like, is that a bad thing to look your age? Like,
it's your skin.
So
You've got good skin.
yeah, I mean, I think I look 53.
I don't know. I think you look 49.
Oh, thanks, mate.
That's all
See,
right.
for me, there's no difference. Over 35, it's just one age now.
Well, that was because you grieved it and you've been in the afterlife ever since.
I did. But in terms of the objectification kind of theory, women internalize that cultural view that you were saying of being catcalled at 12 is their value is based on their appearance, right?
Of course.
So as signs of aging appear, there is a shame and a panic and a perceived loss of your value in the world. And I was saying to you that I have never, ever thought about plastic surgery until I started on TikTok.
Of
and then I
course.
was like, can someone gift me a wattelectomy, please?
Yes, you wanted to get a nip, tuck and fuck, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But now I'm like,
in
no, that's just the fucking you're not supposed to look your age thing.
Yeah.
So I think that aging challenges how women see themselves, particularly around their energy, their fertility.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only fertile for a certain amount.
Of course.
So, you know, there's a lot of that. And in how you're presenting to the world, you know, like there was just that bloody trend going around of the office siren.
Yes.
I hated it.
Why?
Okay, firstly, you're reliant on men. It is a male-centered gaze.
But it doesn't have to be.
But it is.
But it doesn't have to be. This is my thing. Anything like that has its time and its place, and if it's for you.
You're reliant on men. It's the same with the mob wife. You're reliant on men. Male
But that's
bosses.
just the name of the aesthetic.
No,
it has nothing to do with it.
Think deeper.
No, you think less. You're overcomplicating it, dude.
No.
You're fucking putting a hat on a fur coat. Chill out.
So there's no female mob.
But the office siren, right, is basically, was based off lots of things, but the primary inspiration is fucking Giselle Bundchen in The Devil Wears Prada. Name a man in that who isn't Stanley Tucci. It's not about that. It's about feeling empowered. It's also not for work. You can't wear it to work.
No, because
That's why
that girl lost
got
it.
fucking and tried to sue the person who started it. Wear your Miu Miu glasses elsewhere, sweetie. You're all right.
I worked with a girl who looks like Margot Robbie. Like dead ringer.
I remember.
Yeah, dead ringer. She was dead ringer. And COVID, we'd all worked from home and then we all went back into the office one day and there was a group of us. And I said to her, how does it feel not to be the prettiest girl in the office anymore? And she and I were mates, so it was fucking hilarious. But everyone laughed so hard. I was like, you're laughing a bit too much.
You said, actually, that's a tricky response from you all. Thank you very much.
So do you think that confidence is something that we gain as we age, or in spite of how society treats women over 40?
I mean, I think it's a bit of a roller coaster. It's also really person dependent.
Yeah.
Because I know some women who are older than me that completely lack confidence. And some young women that have heaps of it. And whether that younger confidence is rooted in naivety or arrogance is kind of irrelevant, because how it presents is how it presents. And you present – that's the whole idea of fucking confidence, is that it's projecting something.
Yeah.
And so I guess it really depends. I'm sure obviously as you age, you know, the more you know, the less you know kind of vibe.
Yeah. It's
So this is that thing at 21, you're like, I actually know everything. And then at 23 you go, oh, no, never mind, sorry.
What did you value at 20 that you at 28 go, fuck, I don't even think about that anymore? Because what I worried about or valued at 35 is not something I think about anymore.
Really? Like what?
How I look. Like what I look like. It's no one else's business.
Yeah.
That's a really big one for me. It's not that like when I started on TikTok, and I started at a low bar because I've never really done makeup and hair for TikTok. I was never camera ready, and that was part of my kind of natural ebb into TikTok and now on Instagram, is that this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I started doing these. I just started talking to camera. And so whenever I put hair and makeup on now, people freak out.
Pretty girl, pretty girl, pretty girl.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's bad, isn't it?
It's interesting.
I just didn't think about, I used to really think about how I looked, what I was wearing, how I was presenting, vibes, the whole thing. I think less about that. I also think as I've gotten older, I know what suits my body shape.
Of course, yeah.
I know what materials I like to wear. I know the aesthetic I'm going for, and that might shift. I did a post the other day about the different iterations of women when they have children, because lots of women say, I've lost my style. And I said, no, you just don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah.
You just have a different style. Maybe you're all about sneakers and you used to be all about heels. Maybe you're all about loafers and you used to be all about ballet flats. I don't know. It's whatever it makes it easier for you. And it's been a really resonant post with a lot of mums, because they were like, oh, it's a new version of me. It's
an evolution.
Absolutely.
I mean, something I worried about when I was 20 that I don't worry about now is it's a little bit Trini and Susanna's problem areas.
Oh.
Like pull your lower tummy in, sweetie, watch your arms, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit. And I mean, you can't tell today, but I do love tight clothes. I fucking love them, and I'm curvy and I don't care.
Yeah. I started not worrying about my bare arms. That's a really big one, was told that you had to cover your bare arms if you had fat arms. I've realised that no one's looking at my arms.
Do you know what is so funny? The arms thing. I've got quite chunky arms, right? Call a spade. But because of I've got bigger fish to fry with me arms, it feels.
Yeah.
And so I've never felt self-conscious about them. I've never been like, oh, sometimes, when you catch a stray from a photo taken of you from the side, it's a bit tricky. But other than that.
What's that leg of lamb on me doing?
Fuck. You go, someone standing back to back with me? No, that's my arm still. Cool. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about it. Doing the fucking 16-year-old Facebook album, messaging your friend, hey, can you delete photo number 38 of 312? I'm going to have to be put in the Alfred if you keep it up.
Well, you grew up in the generation of skinny arm.
I loved a skinny arm.
Skinny
pop
arm.
your juts out and your little shoulder.
Yeah.
If you can do it on a large staircase with a group of friends, it'll be even better.
I sent you that photo the other day of prees before a uni ball or something the other day. We often had a lot of pre-drinks at our house for your friends.
Yes.
Formals, et cetera, because we had a large house and it had a big foyer with a fancy staircase. And you guys all did the skinny arm.
To be fair, by that point, it was in jest.
Right.
It was a facetious skinny arm. When we did it in year 12 formal, less of a joke. Absolutely less of a joke. The formal photos for me are a bit tricky because I was one of the only girls to not get a spray tan.
Yeah.
And I look like a piece of paper.
No, but you look so beautiful.
I
like
look gorgeous.
Snow White.
Absolutely. But standing within a row of fucking Bondi Sands arms and there's my arm that's let's say 1-to-2 ratio in terms of size, and also 49 shades lighter. It's very funny.
Yeah. I was very pleased when you didn't want that spray tan, but enough about that. So
more. Oh, I'm good.
Is aging gracefully a code for staying hot forever? Demi Moore.
I reverse that. I think that aging gracefully is aging.
Okay.
I think aging ungracefully is doing all the nips, tucks and sucks.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I would say obviously she's had work done, but she looks kind of her age as someone like Drew Barrymore. Yes. She actually has movement.
Yeah.
Movement on her face where she sits next week or sits
so
this close to each other.
So let's talk about Demi.
Who's her doctor? A wizard?
I know.
It's amazing.
I know. Now, I think Martha Stewart's gone to her
She looks fucking amazing. How old is she? 70-something?
109.
Oh, she's your twin.
We were born together, actually.
Yeah.
But so why is a man allowed to be a silver fox, George, who has recently dyed his hair for Broadway, and he looks like an encyclopedia salesman?
Well, here's the problem. This is so mean of me, and it's a double standard, and I know not all men, etc., but they look so funny when they get their hair dyed.
Yeah, because it's always Lego. It's one colour. It's Ray Martin.
Whatever happened to a blend, my brother?
No. It's
it gets
one
very
colour.
hair in a can very quickly. It's just amazing. But yes, no, I watched him interview Patti LuPone the other day, and he's got his new hairs on. Good on you, Georgie.
So it's the damned if you do, damned if you don't, though, because that paradox of supposedly aging gracefully it triggers that cognitive dissonance of kind of wanting to age naturally because that's your values, but it clashes with the incredible pressure, say, if you're in Hollywood, that over 35 you start getting mum roles.
Yeah.
So, then it's this panic. So I saw Blake Lively and Demi Moore at an event the other day, photos, and it's a Monet.
Yeah,
because up close, it's not great.
No, it just becomes a point. I mean, I find it really hard with actors because your job is to express. That's actually your whole job, especially very high up Hollywood actresses. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to tell me a story with primarily your facial expressions, and you're taking them away?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Demi was interesting talking about arms because she's nearly 70 and the skin crepes.
Yes.
And her arms are very crepey.
Yeah.
And I thought it is, looks great, all of that, very thin, Lizzie, all of those things. But the arms, I went, you can't hide that.
No.
It's
the hands as well. Your hands are your biggest giveaway.
Yeah.
And I like a freak put sunscreen on them every day. I was born with the hands of a 49-year-old, to be fair. They're so
you got my
wrinkly.
sense.
Oh, my God. Any palm readers out there, get into that.
But for me with Demi, obviously she's had this incredible resurgence in her career and, Substance, was that what it was? Yeah. Academy Award nom, all of those things, lost to a very young actress, but I will say I do think she was better than Demi.
This is okay. I took umbrage with this line. I saw a lot of people online being like, that's literally the plot of The Substance.
Yeah.
That a young woman. I loved The Substance.
Yeah,
I
she was
did.
good.
But I loved Honora more and I thought the performance was better.
She was amazing.
Mickey Madison.
Yeah.
She's so fucking good. Mikey Madison.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. But, there was a lot of that, Demi's lost out again because of her age. And I think she thought that.
Yeah, sure.
Like her face, she was pissy about it. But anyway, I think for Demi, though, there's this incredible pressure now that you're 70. How long is she going to keep working?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Martha's 80. Looks, I don't know, like she's 60.
God.
Maybe even younger, actually.
The face skin, I don't know.
So Tom Cruise has just had his face redone
Is
too.
he going to fix his middle tooth?
No.
Okay.
No, he can't. It's Xenu is actually that
goes
too.
straight down.
No, he can't. I looked at him the other day and went, oh, you've been to the surgeon. There's a few of them that have been. It must cost an absolute bomb.
Oh, a buttload. I mean, I saw photos of Anne Hathaway the other day and she looks unbelievable.
Doesn't she?
Oh, my God, she looks so good. But I watched a surgeon break down how she looks and she had the tiny little scar in front of her ears. And I want to say, or everything we're saying, I don't judge it on a personal level because it's your face and you get to do what you want with it, right? You can get tattoos, you can get piercings, you can get fucking work done. I don't care. What I care about is the social and sociological pressure.
Yes.
I hate the idea that you are not doing it autonomously. You are doing it because you feel you have to stay relevant, to stay fuckable, to stay whatever.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like when men call Margot Robbie mid,
you know that they're no prize pig, are they?
Dude, they are always like...
It is always the most boot nasty men who are sitting there on their little fucking buttons who are like, look at her fucking fat bitch. And you're like, what are you talking about?
It's interesting because obviously I get a lot of hate on the internet and some of the comments about what I look like I always laugh at because I think you aren't even close to what I've said about myself in the mirror in the morning.
That part, yes.
So for me, I struggle with, the pressure of, you're 35 so you've got to play the mum now, and I'm like, but I know women at 38 having their first babies. Like one of my girlfriends had her first baby at 40 and her second at 42.
Exactly.
Like what is that narrative? Where did that's some fucking Leave It to Beaver 1950 shit.
But it's also like women being 8 years older than the male lead of a show and playing their mum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just pop her in a fucking homely knit and some bad denim.
Yeah.
You and I are wearing two sides of that. No, beautiful denim. And they're like, well, no, she's old now. She looks old.
I think that the fear of decline for people, though, is not just appearance. I think fear of aging is around mortality of you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Like coming to terms with that is really hard. And if I look back at 35 now, I think my fear was mortality.
Mm.
I'm getting older.
Yeah.
My children, and there's going to be a time when I'm not here.
And also, by the time you were 35, I was 10, Spike was 5. We weren't babies anymore.
No.
So I think coming to terms with the fact that we were like alive children.
Also loss of control. I think that's a big thing for getting old is, am I going to poo my pants at Woolies? Look, that I don't have to be old to do that. Am I going to lose my faculties, my mind? Loss of independence is a really big one. And then the empty nest and changing roles. Like for me, each stage that I've gone through as a parent, there is a little bit of sadness of, she doesn't want to take me to read her a story. She doesn't want me to, help her choose her outfit for a party or whatever. And you have to let go of that as well. But that is an existential angst that I think a lot of women feel, and particularly mums, caregiving, perfectionism, what am I going to do? So I got a beautiful message the other day, and I did a video reply to it of a woman saying, I've got 5 kids, well done, and each of them are all at these different ages and they've all gone out on their own and we're all really close, but they're living their lives and they don't need me anymore. And I said to her, job well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you should be doing.
You nailed it, babes.
Your child should be able to leave the house with at least 5 recipes under their belt, understand how to do it, mini tax return and do a shopping list and look for the special sticker.
Yeah.
You've done it. And she was like, oh, my God, thank you. I'm like, you've raised independent, well-organised children who still want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
That's a big one. For me, I think that some women struggle with aging if they haven't hit certain goals yet.
Yeah.
So what was common to me was women getting married to fuckwit men.
Yeah. Because
around
they wanted a baby.
30 because they wanted a baby.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think around that age it gets a bit lights come on at the nightclub.
Yeah.
Who's still here? You. Great. Let's go.
Whereas I'm like, just wait.
Just wait it out.
Get a better one. Like my girlfriend who waited till she was 40.
Yeah.
And then got a really, really good one.
Oh, he's a good one. He's a really good one. Yeah.
So you're like, don't rush it at 30 because you have to hit some internal goal that you need to be married and have a baby by a certain age.
Yeah, no, it's all bullshit. I mean, those kind of milestones having specific times that they need to be hit is a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really big one because aging becomes, in my opinion, a symbol of lost time. I didn't have the child. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't have the holiday. They think their chances have gone because there's this idea that you should be a certain age and hitting certain marks.
But you're not. Well, you should be able to burp and giggle by 3 months. You're not a baby. You're an adult.
Yeah.
You need to – it's okay. Go slow. Work it out.
Yeah. So around the kind of concept of how you look to the world, I mean, how much do you think you value your looks in terms of what other people think of you and how you feel about your looks?
I value my looks quite highly. I value what it represents quite highly. I think I have inherent worth far beyond them. And I'm sure someone would go online and be like, value what? Those looks? Whatever. I don't give a shit. But
it's me. I wrote that.
She's always my biggest op, Kate Forster, everybody. Jesus Christ. No, I do value my looks. I feel like Cath Day Night. I like my looks, and I think you got her. I do. I feel like I have a complicated relationship with it. I think I get told quite often that I look nice by people or strangers.
You look nice.
Yeah. Got stopped in the elevator in my flat today. It was very nice. A lady taking out her recycling to tell me how pretty I am. Thank you, Queen.
That's a lovely thing to do.
Thank you, Queen. I probably enjoy it more than I should, quote unquote, but I like it. I feel good.
Yeah.
I also feel like I mean, I feel it's slightly complex, and this is not a get out of jail free for me being fucking vain. I was insecure about my looks growing up because of my arm.
Yeah.
And so then growing into my looks and having people be like, oh, you're very pretty, you're very beautiful, whatever, made me feel like my body had worth when I didn't feel like it had previously.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I personally have loved getting older.
Yeah.
But it hasn't always been easy. And I think that for me, it was really important to keep learning new things.
Yes.
I didn't want to be that person who, this is who I am, take me as I am. I think you have to keep evolving and learning, staying current, learning how to do things on the computer, learning how to do stuff, asking you not your brother, he's a Luddite, but asking you to go, what is this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
That is a really big one because, over 50, you need to start lifting weight.
Yes.
Absolutely. Weights.
Yeah, you can't be a beetle on your back if mum has a fall.
No. You
need to
don't
have
want to
some
be
strength.
That. So you've got to do weights. It's so important. More than cardio, more than anything. Pilates, weights, balance, anything like that has been really, really good for me to do. And something I didn't do, I avoided any movement for a very long time. And then I realized that I actually have to do that. Also, for me, honoring that I'm still healthy at 53 and maintaining that health and getting checks. And that's a big one I see with women over a certain age is avoiding the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do. I mean, I think lots of people avoid the doctor. It's very scary.
Is it?
Well, yeah, if you don't know what's going to happen.
So I had health anxiety for years.
Yeah.
I had hypochondritis.
That feels like a very hypochondriac way to say you're a hypochondriac.
I was a hypochondriac.
Yeah, you were Dr. Google, mate.
I was because my dad had cancer, my mum had cancer, my sister had cancer, my brother had cancer. I was a fatty and I smoked.
Smoking fatty. Yeah.
I smoked a fatty. So
Queen
I
out,
was
queen.
not a fucking beacon of health.
No.
I kept waiting for the Spanish dancer to come knocking at the door.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
And I would avoid going to the doctor like a motherfucker because every time something happened, that's it, I'm dead.
Yeah. I remember you would say, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look
well,
at
that's
that.
it. Say goodbye.
Me, Jesus Christ, chill.
Because I was afraid of getting old and dying.
And it's that thing where you can avoid something as much as you want, but the best thing to do is actually to be proactive and actually get checked and actually fucking, I don't know, get your physical.
So for my 40th birthday, I went to my beautiful GP and I sat down and I said, you know that I hate coming here. And she said, I'm aware. And I said, you got to do the whole works.
Yeah.
And every birthday I go around my birthday and get everything.
Coming up this month?
Yeah,
Sweet.
no, I do. I get my bloods. I get my mammogram every couple of years, breast cancer in my family, blah, blah, blah. And I don't worry about it now.
No.
Because you are better to know.
And it's also ingrained in your routine. It's not this thing that looms over you now. You go, okay, around this time of this year, I do this.
Yeah.
This is the thing I do.
And that's a big one that I see with women over 30 in my followers who message me or in my Patreon commenting that they aren't going to the doctor for general health and then it ends up being a shit show.
Oh, absolutely.
High blood pressure, autoimmune diseases. And it's all tied together because we did a whole episode on boundaries and autoimmune diseases. Women who can't say no.
Absolutely. You need to,
say
no, girls.
So that's a really big one for me. I mean, I'm kind of odd for my age group because I had children quite young.
Yes.
And it was interesting with you, so we got pregnant straight away, and then it took a little while longer to get pregnant with Spike, which was fine. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then when I was pregnant with him, I had the test, the 12-week test or whatever, and they said they did the skin fold and they said, oh, you need to get tested to see if he has Down syndrome. And we can't do that until you're 18, 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And they did a test on me and they came back and said, your eggs are really old.
You had geriatric eggs up there, didn't you, sweets?
I did.
I get worried about that. That. Maybe I need to have a baby soon, but that's okay.
Eggs.
Don't say coddled, say dusty.
dusty eggs. And I was in shock. So he said to me, at 28, when I was pregnant with Spike, they said, you actually have the eggs of a 35-year-old.
That's so interesting. That's just genetics.
It's bad.
Well, I mean, you hadn't fucking fried them. It's just
No,
it
but
is
you know
what it is.
Yeah, sure. But what was interesting to me was that my need to have a baby really young was massive.
And it's your body knowing.
And I reckon it was my body going, oi, you need to sort this out. So anyway, obviously he didn't have that, but I had to wait that kind of period of what are we going to do kind of concept. And it was that thing of, that's why I didn't have a third, because I was like, fuck, if it was this knife's edge for him.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of aging gracefully, I guess, is honouring what your body can and can't do now.
Absolutely.
So I changed my sofa because I realised that whenever I was getting up, I was going, ugh.
This is the sound of my childhood right there. It's you and Gorms going, oh, God. That's Dave. That's my Dave impression. Oh, God.
No, but Dave's now at the stage that he farts when he gets home.
Hey, don't say that on the pod. That's private.
No,
brother.
it's not private.
No, that is private.
No, it's not private because that's what my dad used to do.
It's what your dad used to do.
He's turning into my dad.
Okay, on that note, Freud, let's wrap it up.
All right, good conversation, my friend.
It aged beautifully.
Yeah, all right. You look great for your age.
Oh, thanks, darling.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.